Thanks everybody for joining. Good crowd here today. Really appreciate you all joining these quarterly VUGs. I hope you all get as much out of them as we do. It's a good way for us to all get together and bounce ideas off each other. So I've grown to love these over the past year, and definitely looking forward to continuing to do these. So in our next release, we've got a lot of great stuff coming. The thing I want to show off today, as Rob mentioned, is our new chart API. This isn't going to be ultra applicable to everybody on this call. It's really going to be geared towards the ServiceNow developers and admins. And for those of you who don't consider yourself part of that group, just know that your teammates who are in that group are probably going to love this, and hopefully we'll get a lot of use out of it. A little background as to really like the core of why we started VividCharts for those of you who don't know the full story. This ties into it pretty well. So before VividCharts, my entire career was in ServiceNow development and consulting. Really, I started to create kind of a specialty in doing custom interfaces. It used to be in the CMS tool before Service Portal was available. And then it was in Service Portal once they released that. And for whatever reason, anytime one of our clients or customers had a requirement for a report, let's just call it like a report or a chart that just did not fit inside the boundaries of traditional out-of-the-box reporting or dashboarding, it would get passed along to me oftentimes, so that I guess I pictured it as something that was sort of a custom interface, which I kind of get, but it's also the data side of it as well. And so I would have to build these from the ground up, these custom charts or reports, and it would just take me a stupid amount of time. Like it would take me maybe 15 hours, and maybe this is an attack on my abilities, but it would take me like 15 hours to create like a simple donut chart that just collected data in an abnormal way. So I figured there had to be a better way to do this. There had to be a more scalable and flexible way to do this in platform without taking your data to Excel or something like that. And so when we first launched VividCharts, that was really what we were offering. That was the core of what we were offering, was a more flexible way to report, and just to give you like a broad level of flexibility in your reporting space in ServiceNow in platform. The product's obviously grown a lot. The problems we're solving have changed pretty significantly over time, but that core is still there. So that's kind of a long-winded intro into this new chart API. So I'm sure some of you have created custom charts with VividCharts in the past. You could create something that just tweaks the way you collect the data, or you could tweak the way you're actually visualizing the data. Today, the chart API that we're about to roll out here is really going to focus on helping you collect that data in a much quicker and cleaner format, in a much more uniform way, and also in a manner that it's going to become more and more robust over time. So I'll kind of give a few little examples of how this is going to work and what it's going to look like going forward. But what you're seeing right now is just in our Creator Hub. This is just a quick little chart I created. I actually made a copy of the donut chart, and we'll look at the script here in a minute, but nothing fancy right now. So we've just got a donut chart grouped by category. Open the preview, see what that looks like. Nothing special. If we go over to the chart type script, I'm going to walk you through what this new chart API looks like. So you probably have started taking things like ServiceNow's Glide Record and Glide Aggregate for granted, but they're really fantastic tools for interacting with your ServiceNow database and tables. What our chart API is going to do is it's going to take that to another layer where it's going to be a really data visualization driven API to let you get to that data and get a return that is what these charts are looking for. And I'll go into that a little bit more. So let's say we wanted to create a new chart type, a custom script. So first we'd start out and we'll just put a line in here. We'll call our API VividChart. We'll pass this chart object, which essentially just contains all of the options that you see on this page here and can be referenced in here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to say, all right, we want this to be a donut chart. So we're going to take our VividChart, set type donut. And by the way, this is all going to be really well documented, similar to how ServiceNow has the glide record and glide aggregate API documentation. We are going to have similar documentation. So we hope it's something that's really easy for your developers and admins to get their heads around and start taking advantage of. Now, once we have that set, if we don't want to do anything else, we can just go ahead and say, go get that data based on what our chart configuration is. So that is what we've got when we actually look at this preview here. So nothing special yet, but it's a really clean way to basically hide all of that complexity behind the scenes where you don't have to go and write your own script, your own glide aggregate scripts, your own glide record scripts to go get that data and format it properly. This data is going to be returned exactly how that donut chart needs it. So we're going to have, our name, we're going to have the value, query, all of that good stuff. And you don't have to worry about formatting any of it. Our API will take care of that. Now, let's say we want to actually interact with it a little bit more. We could start setting options on the fly here. So we could say, okay, let's override the record limit here. And let's say we only want 4 results returned. I'll go ahead and save that. And you can see right now we've got 5 results. Let's recollect that. Now we've got 4. So we could set options. We could do these individually, or we can do them in bulk. And this will let you start adding some logic into this. So you could write whatever script you want here. You could go check whatever you need. You could check a system property. Let's do that. I've got a system property created that's getting a record limit, and we'll just set it to a variable. And then we could save that, and let's look at what this system property is set to. So now it's saying 2. All right, let's go ahead and check that. All right, we've only got 2, so that's linked up well. Let's say maybe we want this to be 3. We could just update that property. And this might not be the most applicable use case, but the point being is you could build logic into this and really quickly interact with this chart. So we changed it to 3. Now we've got three records or categories being returned here. So there's a lot you could do that with that. You could even override how it's collecting. So maybe based on certain things, you want to change the group by dynamically. So obviously on here, we have it set to category, but we can override that in our script. So I set it to priority. And now when I pull that up, you'll see we get a return of the priority. So this is something that is really supposed to help save you a lot of time when you're creating custom chart types. This is something that in this first version is really getting the bones in place. And it's really going to make this very functional day one. But it's also set up in a way that we're going to keep building this API out, and we're going to add more and more functionality to it, make it more and more robust. But day one, this should hide a lot of the complexity to creating custom charts and hopefully help people like where I was, 5 years ago, having to do these from the ground up. This should help you pretty significantly. Even if you're not using it directly in VividCharts, this API will help you get that data if you need it for, maybe you're making a custom service portal widget or something like that and want to get the data in a similar aggregate fashion. You could take advantage of this. So lots of possibilities. It's something I'm really excited about. Kudos to our development team for getting this put together. It's fantastic, and something that you might not notice, but under the hood, it's also very fast. It's very efficient. So we're hoping that's something that will help you all out as well. So again, not applicable to everybody on this call. Hopefully, really applicable to some of you. If you all have any questions, I'm not sure if we're doing another Q&A right now or if we're going to wait till after all the presentations are finished. But again, really appreciate you all hopping on here and participating as always. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, Mitch, actually, we do have a question from the audience on the API, wanting to know if we could use that to make custom group buys, like on the incident, in the incident table, if I want to make two groupings of categories together.
Yeah, so you could basically, there's a lot you could do with that. You could essentially have multiple API calls in the same chart script. So maybe you want to get two separate groupings. It's basically going to return those data objects, and then you could use basic JavaScript essentially to combine those. So yeah, you could definitely make multiple calls and return whatever data object you want.